Is this thing on? Welcome to Rebooted the Podcast. I'm your host, Alita Hernandez. Come join me weekly to hear about my journey from recovery to healing after having a stroke and other life challenges. So let's get talking.
There.
Hi, everybody. Alita Hernandez, Rebooted the Podcast. We are here again with another interesting guest that I have today. Udo, I said it again wrong.
It's okay. Let me do it. Udo Erasmus.
Erasmus. There you go.
Yeah. It's a strange name.
Is there a culture? That's why the name, or is there?
I was born in Europe. My parents came from Latvia and Estonia, and my German-Swedish background, born in Poland. And yeah, it's a very European name. There's only very few Udos around.
Oh.
So anytime you punch in Udo on Google, I show up on the first page without any effort on my part.
Oh, isn't that good? Look at that. You get your ranking right away.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was a good thing to name you that then.
Yeah. In that regard, yes.
That must have bothered you when you were.
Well, the other one is it's not even a 4-letter word.
Right.
So when I sign my name, I'm done really fast.
Yeah.
So it saves me time too, right?
That's good. So let's talk about we're talking about brain fog, overcoming brain fog.
Brain fog, yeah.
Brain fog, and you have a book as well, correct? Or no?
I have several books, and I work with all kinds of things. I'm all based on health and human nature.
Oh, wonderful.
That's my field.
Well, that's all I talk about, is just getting people to understand that there's alternatives in medicine and nutrition, and that your body heals. And I don't know if you saw my other podcast, but my story is that I had a stroke 6 years ago. And I changed my lifestyle completely from head to toe because I had no choice. It was either live or die. So I chose the right way and be around for my kids. And now I'm just trying to interview people like you and other experts out there so I can learn more on how to heal my body and feel better. And I actually have been having some brain fog. I don't know what is going on since I had COVID. I had it twice. I find that I've been sicker a little bit more often. It's very little now, but I get this like brain fog all of a sudden. Like I'm fine, and then I wake up in the morning like, what is going on?
Yeah, and I don't think they've figured out why that goes with long COVID. I don't think they've figured out exactly what's going on, but there's lots of different ways to get brain fog. They're both physical, like for instance, toxicity, just generally toxicity, unnatural molecules in your body, they get into your brain and then they interfere with brain function. That's simple. If you're deficient in essential nutrients that are required for brain function, that'll give you brain fog too. If you have a hangover from drugs or alcohol, that'll give you brain fog, right?
Right.
If you're confused about who you are and what you're here for, that gives you brain fog. And if you haven't learned to focus because you're kind of just reacting to everything, well, that'll get you brain fog too. So there's lots of reasons for brain fog, and it's like tired and low energy and can't think straight and, confused and, don't know what's happening and feel stressed for no reason. And maybe a little anxiety goes with all of that because you feel like you're not really on top of your game, right? So yeah, it's pretty common. And it's, if you listen to one political party say one thing and the other one just as vehemently say the other thing, you get confused, brain fog, right? So let's blame it on the politicians.
Yeah, that'll work right now. That's true.
Yeah, or the neighbors. But eventually we have to say, in the midst of all of this, whatever is all going on, that's all crazy. In the midst of that, there's a place where I can be. And there are things that I can do that put me in a place where I feel competent, where I feel aware and awake and energized and able to deal with what I need to deal with.
Yeah.
And that's where our homework comes from, or has to come from.
Right.
That we decide. It's almost like sometimes I drift. I get brain fog too, right? I drift, and I'm just, I don't know, and then I get to a point where I just get really ticked off. And then I have this moment of, I call it, now I can't remember what I call it,
Brain fog.
but it's a fierce determination. And it's like, damn it, and there's just like a burst.
Right.
And when you have that burst, all of a sudden there's clarity, right?
Yeah.
And then it's called, so I call it fierce determination. And it gets when I get sick and tired of being sick and tired, when I get sick of drifting in something, or when I get sick of not being present, right? And then you have this burst, and that's what emotions are sometimes good for. If you get really fed up, then in that determination, you find your power. And in the power, you find your clarity. And then the clarity you get to do what you need to do. Right? So that's a mental part of it.
Right. No, I understand that. I laugh because I get like this.
Yeah.
So I'm a very creative person. I do these shows, and I write and do different things. And there's sometimes I'll sit here and I have to do a video edit or something, and I just can't. Like I can't just focus in on that. So I have to get up, go do something, walk around the block or whatever. It's just something like get some more oxygen to my brain or whatever.
Yeah. Do a little exercise, take a cold shower.
Yeah,
that works, right?
Something to just jolt you a little bit.
Jolt you into the present, yeah.
So talking about brain fog, that there's a lot of things here. You talk about nutrition and supplements and things like that, which we can get into. I'm just curious if you know of any studies about like the Alzheimer's, with the brain fog, like association with, you know what I mean? I know it's a whole nother spectrum.
Yeah, no, but let me give you a broad answer to that. We are creatures of nature. Nature made us. We come out of the natural system. Everything, all the building blocks for body construction and function come from nature. So we're part of nature. We're supposed to live in line with nature, and we have a nature, like a natural nature, the nature of a human being, right? And when we live in line with nature and our nature, we're going to be present. We're going to be present in the space our body occupies, and we're going to feel alive because there's energy in that space. And we're going to be aware of our surroundings. And when something happens and changes, which happens all the time, well, then we just deal with it as a matter of course, because we're awake, we're there, we're present, right? Every step we take out of line with nature and our nature, we lose something that has to do with health, that has to do with brain function, that has to do with focus, that has to do with awareness. And so the broad answer is every step you need to take from where you are to getting back in line with nature is going to give you something in health, because health was invented by nature, right? For living adapted to nature. So what does that mean? Well, if you fry your foods, well, that's not nature's mandate. That's something human beings invented. Frying is the dumbest thing we ever invented to do, and certainly can lead to brain fog, and certainly can lead to other brain problems. So give up the frying pan, go back to cooking in water, and then from water, get into eating raw foods, because every creature in nature eats its food fresh, whole, raw, and organic.
Yeah.
And for humans, probably mostly plant-based. The research is pretty clear. You want the longest life and the best health, you do it on a whole food plant-based diet. So that's the broad thing. So Alzheimer is a brain degenerative disease. Some people now call it diabetes 3. We have type 1, type 2 diabetes. Now they call it type 3 diabetes. And probably you would do better on a diet that is low in sugar and low in refined starches, for sure. And you might even do better on a diet that is more in line with ketogenic. But if you're going on a diet that's ketogenic, where you use mostly fats for your fuel,
Right.
you actually need to make sure that you get omega-3 and omega-6 essential fatty acids,
Mm,
which are essential because you can't make them, but you have to have them to live and be
mm.
healthy. They have to come from outside, but they're the most sensitive of our nutrients, and they're easily damaged by light, oxygen, and heat. So you need to get the omega-3 and omega-6, without damage and without pesticides and without plastic like they often
Oh,
have
wow.
in oils. So you have to get oils made with health in mind. You never use them for frying. You mix them in food. They enhance the absorption of oil-soluble nutrients, which is another bonus for health, right? And you end up doing better. Now, most ketogenic diets don't pay attention to that, but the only thing you need from fats that you for sure have to have is omega-3 and omega-6. And 99% of the population does not get enough omega-3 for optimum health. And pretty much most of the population gets enough omega-6, but they're damaged by the processing and by food preparation. And so you want them both made with health in mind. They need to be in the right ratio because they compete in the body.
Wow.
So that's probably the one area that is the most neglected, where you will get the most health benefits. More health problems come from damaged oils than any other part of nutrition, and more benefits to health will come walking those back into line with nature, with omega-3s made with health in mind and omega-6s in the right ratio, packaged in glass, put in a box, refrigerated because they're sensitive to light, oxygen, and heat, and
Oh,
then used with care in your foods. And that's the industry I invented, actually.
wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
got poisoned by pesticides. There's another way to get brain fog. Yeah,
Yes.
right?
Well, they
And
talk about the glucophate or whatever that's called. That's
glyphosate, yeah.
that's very bad for you. And
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
still
Well,
debates about
they're
that.
all bad. They're all bad for you because pesticides are made for only one reason: to kill living things. Well, we're
Including
living
us.
things. Yeah.
Exactly, including
And
us.
we're not that different from the grass and from the bugs in our biochemistry. It's the same biochemistry out of nature that makes them and that makes us. So if it's toxic to an insect,
It's
there's
toxic
a
for
really
us.
good chance it'll be toxic for you as well.
Wow. And then we've been exposed to that for so many years now.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh,
and
sure. Yeah.
everywhere, everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Just come to the
Yeah,
house, they
because
spray.
we have freedom without responsibility.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
That's terrible. So how can you get, so I'm curious, how am I going to get omega-3 and omega-6 properly? Like,
Well, the easiest way is you'll find it in a brown glass bottle, in a box, in the fridge, in the supplement section, in the health food stores.
okay.
And there's only one that's made like that. I made it.
Ah, okay. So
That's how I know. I started that whole industry of making oils with health in mind after I got poisoned. And
wow.
what we did, and we balance. It's a blend of oils where we balance omega-3 and 6 because you don't know. If you don't have special knowledge, special education, then you don't know how much do you need. How much is in a sunflower oil, and what is in a safflower oil, and what is in a soybean oil, and what is in flax oil. Right? You don't know.
No, you don't. No, I
But
don't
and
even.
and then I did some of it by experience. I actually, when I got the ratio wrong, I got deficiency symptoms of the other one, right? And so then I played with it and worked with it. And I tried to do it with seeds and nuts, and that's not enough for me because I couldn't get my skin from drying out, even in summer when I need less oil. And so we built it both on the feedback we got because I've been doing this now for over 40 years, and been to 40 countries, and I like the feedback because the people who use it and report what happens to them.
Right.
Not only do they make me feel good because I get to help so many people, but I also get information that I can use to make it even better.
Exactly. That's
And
awesome.
I like doing that, and it feels really good here to be doing something that makes people's lives better.
Exactly.
The second thing is digestion is the second
Oh,
most neglected area. So that's the second area I worked with. And so I talk about probiotics. Everybody's heard about them by now. We got there pretty early. like 1997.
Oh.
And probiotics improve what goes on in your digestive tract so that you don't get poisonous molecules made by unfriendly bacteria getting absorbed into your body, and they'll affect your brain fog as well. And then digestive enzymes, again, you look at nature, every creature eats raw. So when you eat raw food and you chew it properly, the enzymes in the raw food will do, on average, 60% of the digestion of the food for you after you swallow it and before it gets into the acid bath in your stomach. 60%. Now, when we cook the food, we destroy those enzymes, and now our digestive system has to do more than twice as much work.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it wasn't intended to do that. It was intended for raw food. So when that catches up with you, then your immune system has to get involved. And now your immune system isn't free to do the jobs, it's other jobs, which is like clean up junk in the body, right? Take down inflammatory proteins. If there's any viruses that get in your body, take them down simply by digesting them. And so if you cook your food, then you should replace the enzymes you destroyed when the food was cooked, and you should replace the probiotics that got killed when you cooked the food.
Wow.
And if you take antibiotics, you should take probiotics before, during, and after, so you never leave a window open for reinfection when the antibiotic wears off. Most people don't know that, and most people don't do that.
No.
Right. And then fiber is very helpful as well for your digestive tract. And bitters, they help with liver function. Bitters don't give you brain fog. Bitters actually give you clarity. Sugar gives you brain fog.
Oh yeah, sugar is terrible.
Yeah. So my question is always, well, people say, well, yeah, but I like sweet. Well, why does everything have to be sweet? Maybe you could just decide to like bitter because you know that bitter is better. Right, better for you, right? So yeah, and then greens and vegetables. It's hard to get brain fog from eating raw vegetables. In fact, it may be impossible.
Wow. But when you cook them, the composition changes.
Well, when you cook them in water, you lose the enzymes and probiotics that come with them. You get a little bit of damage. You lose some of the minerals into the cooking water, unless you drink that water, which some people do. So you do lose something. So if raw is better, as long as it's not contaminated by microbes.
Right. Well, that's now you have to wash it, and you don't know. That's the only problem, because even if you go to the store, you can't believe the organic a lot of times. Most of the time here, it's very hard.
Your chances of it being organic, if it says organic, are better than if it doesn't say organic.
Well, that's true.
Right. So from that perspective, it's a step in the right direction. But you don't know, and yet sometimes people have different standards for what they call organic. So the best thing to do is, if you own a home, tear up your lawn, forget about the stupid lawn, and grow your own vegetables.
Yes, exactly. I have a little herb garden. That's all I have right now.
Yeah, and it's super good for the kids. When you teach them how to grow things, and they have to wait, and they learn patience, because everything becomes ripe in season.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they say, "Well, is there a radish on there yet?" So they pull it up, and there's no radish there yet, right? And then they say, "No, you can't do that. You have to wait until the radish lets you know that it's there, and you'll see the top of it on top of the soil, and then you can pick it."
Well, I love all types of fruits and vegetables, and one thing that I was thinking about when you said back in nature. So I find myself that if I walk outside, I like to walk. I don't like to go to the gym because I don't like to be indoors. I like to be outside. So I usually do a walk through the neighborhood, through the residential neighborhood, and I look at all the trees. And I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so it's mango season right now. So I have made everything you can think of with mango. Make a mango salad with cucumbers, fresh salad, raw salad.
I'll be right over. I love mangoes.
So my mother walks every day. My mother's 85, and she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. But I'm not, I don't know. I know she has some memory issues, but she's 85 years old and she's still physically, she's awesome. I cook every day. I make food home,
Yeah.
fresh foods, buy everything.
Yeah.
And she walks around the cul-de-sac every day. So she'll go to the neighbor's house, bring a couple of mangoes every day. She's coming. I got more mangoes. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
we must have
Nice.
had 200 mangoes in the house already.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
there's 5 of us, so we're always eating the mango.
Yeah.
And then we have a moringa tree.
Yeah. Can you get her to walk by my house and drop off a couple?
You're not in Florida.
I live in Vancouver.
Oh, yeah, you're a little far.
It's a long walk.
It's a long
But yeah,
walk.
out in nature and oxygen, getting oxygen, and I mean, people send kids into nature, or adults too, to improve health problems and to improve something like brain fog. Oxygen is really good for brain fog, right? Because it increases your energy level. It's fresh and it's alkaline, and so I mean, there's and it always comes back to live in line with nature, live in line with nature, and live in line with your nature.
People think I'm crazy when I go to hug a tree. They're like, "What are you doing?" I said, "There's vibrations, there's energy in a tree." It's like,
I'm kissing my sister.
People are like, right? You're weird. I'm like, I don't care. It makes me feel good.
Yeah. Well, you know why?
Plants. I talk to the plants. I talk to my herbs. I talk to all of them.
But if you think about it, cutting a tree down is weird. Picking flowers is weird because you're killing something and you don't need to, when you don't need to, right? Saying hi to the flowers and hello to the trees and having a conversation with them. That's normal. But we've gone so far away from normal that people think it's weird. That's how weird those people are. That's how weird we have become.
Yeah. See, I had the opportunity as a child. I was born in New York City, but my family lives in, my grandparents lived in Puerto Rico on the islands. So my grandmother lived in the countryside. So every summer I spent 3 months out of the year there. And so I would go to the backyard. We had a big lot. And we had everything growing, the guava, the mangoes, the pana, all the different roots that they grow, the yucca, I mean, all this stuff. So I remember, and we had fresh chickens. So I would go pick up the eggs in the morning and feed the chickens. And sometimes I go, how come there's a chicken missing? And then she told me dinner was chicken, so I wouldn't eat.
Yeah. And that's which reminds me of something more, it's pretty hard to have brain fog on the farm because you got to milk the cows and you got to get the eggs and you got to pull the weeds. And, there's always something you need to do that engages your body and that engages your senses. And because the farm and the success and your food depends on you doing what you need to do every day, you don't have time for brain fog.
No, you don't. And that's why there's a lot of people in the island that live a long time. There's a lot of people over 100 years old there.
Yeah.
Because they live a very simple life in the country. All their food, basically everything's outside, and the soil in the island is red. It's like brick. You just put a seed and it grows. Things grow and things differently, right? Things that when I go to Europe, I'm like, oh my God, this is real food. A red pepper tastes like a red pepper, It's flavor. It's not water. Like here, you taste it tastes like water because there's like no flavor in everything. So but that's
fresh. Fresh is the operative word here. Fresh water, fresh air, fresh food.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I do. I want to say that when I had my stroke 6 years ago, my acupuncturist, the first thing he said to me, you need to do a detox, and he had me doing fresh juices, carrot, celery, doing it at home in my machine for 21 days. I stopped eating meat. So for the first year and a half after I had the stroke, I didn't eat any meat. I just ate raw. I cooked vegetables too, but I did a lot of raw cooking, a lot of juicing to clear all the toxins out of my body.
Yep.
And that's why I tell people to listen to this podcast and hear all this amazing stuff, because people don't understand your body heals if you give it the right thing.
Like to give them like a sense of that. Your body is a major construction site. It's always turning over. And every year about 98% of the atoms in your body are removed and replaced, and it's done with such finesse that you don't even notice.
Mm.
But the fact that the body's always turning over is the reason why it can heal. So when there's something wrong with your body, whether it's brain fog or physical stuff, pains and inflammation or whatever, then what you need to do is you raise your standard for the intake of fresh air, fresh water, and fresh food. And when you do that, you will rebuild 98% of your body to a higher standard in 1 year.
Wow.
That's what healing is. That's why healing is possible, because you're always turning over. That's why we have to eat, because your body keeps needing new material for the turnover. Right?
Yep.
So the idea of, and when you say, okay, you got to detox, well, how do you do that? Well, you get organic stuff, no pesticides.
Right.
Then you make it easy on your digestion. Well, you do that by keeping the enzymes in it because it's raw. Right? And then the fresh organic juices, that's a pretty high standard for food. And you do that for a year and a half, and 99% of your body will have been rebuilt to that standard. But if you're doing it on hamburgers and fried meat and fried eggs and fried everything and burned oils and white sugar and white flour and damaged oils, well, yeah, then you're building you can do that for a year and build your body to a lower standard, 98% of it in a year.
That's why everybody's so unhealthy, because everywhere you go,
Yeah.
fast food is fried. I
Yep.
cannot go outside. I ate something the other day that was fried, and then for like 3 days I had stomach problems. I'm like, what's wrong with my stomach? And I couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Well,
know.
you're lucky because you notice.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't notice, maybe because they're not paying attention, but then they keep doing it and they don't notice that it's hurting them. And then they get used to it, and then, it comes with age, or they have some excuse,
Yeah,
when the
exactly.
only thing they should be doing is changing the way they eat, more in line with nature, more in line with fresh, whole, raw, organic.
Yeah, and it's
and
unfortunate
plant-based.
because people want things fast. And my acupuncturist told me, he
Yeah.
said, he goes, fast food. He said the original fast food is raw food. He said,
Yeah.
food is fast food. You make
Yeah,
a bunch of salad. You grab a
exactly.
tomato. You got a cucumber. There you got your salad. It's raw food.
No cooking and no dishes.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And if you do fast food, you want everything fast, well, the box at the end will be faster too. Right?
That's the truth.
Yeah. So no, you might as well understand that. And I'm polite enough to say it.
No, but it's true. I told people I had to decide if I was going to live or die, because I was in a very bad state when I had my stroke. I was overweight. I've already lost 70 pounds. Wow. I've changed all my numbers because I'm diabetic, so I've changed all my numbers. I'm down, really good, A1C, everything like that. And I'm off of insulin. I'm not on insulin anymore. And my body's healed because I had lost 50% of my left side. So I had to do therapy and get myself back, but I was determined because I have 2 children. So I was like, I gotta see my sons.
Yeah. And now you're an inspiration for other people because you've proved that it's possible. Because that's a good comeback. That's a comeback from a huge issue. Right? And how many? 70 pounds?
70 pounds and 6.5 years now. 6.5 years since the stroke. And January will be 7 years. And I've regained regained my left side. I can dance again. I can run, I jog, I can do a mile run now. So I went from barely walking to doing a mile run. So I tell people, and I'm 58 years old. So I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
So I'm 81. I got poisoned by pesticides when I was 38. And that's when I started paying attention.
Wow.
I ended up when I was 38, I had a little bit of arthritis in my knees. I got no pain in my joints at all at 81. And when I got poisoned, I woke up. It's like I only get one body, and I was really careless. I was really careless. I was stupid careless. Some people call that men's testosterone poison. They're poisoned by their own testosterone to do really stupid things until they get the first disaster, until they create the first disaster for themselves, and then they start getting wiser.
Wow,
So,
it's amazing. And the thing is that we need people like you and others that know the truth of the healing of the body. Because unfortunately, our regular, Western medicine here is not, the medicine is just, it's all about medications and things like
well,
that.
yeah, it's not healthcare.
No,
What doctors practice is disease management. They don't even have a definition of health to go from. They say health is the absence of disease, but that's actually backwards, because disease comes from the absence of health, and health has principles and components. If you know what those are, then you bring them all in and you build your health program. And that's like the essential nutrients that are 42. There's 18 minerals, 13 vitamins, 9 amino acids from proteins, and 2 essential fatty acids from fats. No essential nutrients from carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are the least important food. They're good for fuel, but oils are better fuel, actually, give you more stable energy. They don't get insulin swings. You don't become overweight on them because they inhibit fat production genes in your body. The right fats do that. And so, so you have to build the program, but in order to do that, you have to know what that needs to look like. And what I'm doing is I'm actually turning health into a teachable field based on the principles and components. And the reason why is because, we've been here for 200,000 years, and we don't know who we are. We don't know what human nature is. What's wrong with that picture? We know more about gossip about our neighbors than we know about who we are, what we need, and how to put it together. And I thought, okay, well, I want to do total health and human nature are the two things I'm going to work on till the time I check out.
Well, you look amazing at 81. I didn't even think that. I thought you were only a few years older than me. So
I am a few years older than you.
Just a few.
Yeah.
It's all about your heart and your mentality, and of course you have your vitality because you've been taking care of your health, and it makes such a difference. It really does.
Yep. And I also do something worth doing. I have purpose. Purpose is also good for brain fog. If you don't have any purpose, what should you do? Then you got bored with even being alive, right? That's
gosh, I see people like that all the time, right?
Yeah. Bored being alive, and then you do stupid things and you check out early.
But
if you have a purpose to live for, then you're going to do what you need to do to be around to pursue that purpose.
Yeah.
So having purpose smartens you up, right? Because it's part of the purpose is I got to look after myself. Otherwise I can't do what I want to do. And what I do is glorious and beautiful, right? And so I feel good about it. And when you feel good, that's also good for brain fog.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Yeah, it's really amazing because unfortunately, I went through a very scary period of time being sick, but I've taken it and turned it into something very positive.
Yeah, and now you can
help others.
And now you can look at it as a gift.
Yes.
Because it got your attention.
Oh, it did. It really did. And
slapped you around the head, told you, got to be different.
Let me tell you, I was blessed in the sense that I woke up. The reason I woke up during the stroke, I was having a stroke in the middle of the night, and in a dream, the dream woke me up, and I was in the hospital room in the dream, and the doctor walked in and said, "Miss Hernandez, you just had a stroke," just like that. And I woke up, and I went, I just kind of I feel weird. Did I have a stroke? Like have a heart attack? Like I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, of course.
And so all I remember was waking up and I couldn't move my left side. Like somebody was holding me down. I just was stuck on that side. I'm like, what? And so I thought I slept on my arm. So I'm like, oh, I must have slept. I kept going like this. My arm would go down. And I'm like, what's going on? So I couldn't process because stuff was going on. And I don't know how I landed up getting to the edge of the bed because I had to go up to go to the bathroom. And I just fell flat on the floor. I couldn't walk. And my roommate at the time was like, Alita, what's wrong? And I looked at her and she looked at me and said, oh, let me call 911. I go, why? She said, no, 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 I need to call. She didn't tell me my mouth was, one side, my whole
Okay.
left side was
It was
twisted.
paralyzed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know. And I was talking funny. I go, how come I'm talking funny? I felt like I was like Daffy Duck. I was like, what's going on? Like, I couldn't get the words out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still like being me, like my
Yeah,
personality.
yeah, yeah.
I'm fighting whatever this is,
Yeah.
And
It's funny now. I guess it wasn't funny then, but it's
yeah,
pretty funny
exactly.
now the way you talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, I make light of it now because, I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, yeah.
At that time, it was scary. It was really
Oh
scary,
yeah. Oh, for
you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful, and like I tell everybody needs to have hope and faith, and learn your body. People, your body signals you when there's something wrong.
Yep.
Before I had the stroke, I went to the doctor 3 or 4 times because I was having severe pains in my head, and I was having some weird almost like abdominal like almost like contractions. That's how
Hmm.
they felt, like pregnancy contractions, because it wasn't abdominal. It was just a weird, and I kept saying something's off with me. And my
Yeah.
sugar, my diabetes, my number wouldn't go down past 400.
Oh, wow.
It stayed at 400 with 2 insulins. It wouldn't go down.
Wow.
And I kept
Hmm.
telling the doctor, something is not right with my body. It's not responding to medicine. I have severe headaches for a week now. And they're like, oh, we can't find anything. And I
Yeah.
literally was at the hospital the day before I had the stroke. And they sent me home.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I know the Richard Burton, the actor,
Yes.
got a clean bill of health from his doctor 1 week before he died of a massive heart attack.
I know. I mean, they're human. They
So
don't know everything.
rather than going to the doctor, me personally, I would rather figure out how to live in line with nature and then be responsible for that, because ultimately your doctor is not responsible, whether you live or die. Even if you die from the treatment, he still gets paid.
Exactly.
Right? So,
Exactly.
and so in one sense, because he gets paid no matter what the outcome is, there's not a huge incentive to keep you healthy. Now, it doesn't mean they don't want to help you. Doctors are human beings too.
Right. Right.
But what is really clear is that as much as possible, your health needs to be your responsibility. What can you do to improve your odds? Ultimately, your body's going to check out. We already know that, right?
Right. Right.
But what can you do to enjoy your life so much that you'll be willing to do whatever it takes to prolong your time on earth as long as you can and as healthy and as able as you can?
That's right. That's
And
right.
so, but then you have to have something in your heart that you're living for. What
Yeah.
are you living for? Maybe just to enjoy everything. Just enjoy. Look at the trees outside. Look at the clouds in the sky. Look at, we live in a miracle. We are a miracle living in a miracle,
Yep.
right? Because we're just dust, water, and air, and a little bit of sunlight. That's it. That's what we are. But sunlight can't have the human experience, and water can't have the human experience, and dust can't have the human experience.
Mhm.
But you put them all together, and here I am, those four things together, and I get to have the human experience. And what an experience it is. Laughing and crying and dancing and singing and,
Yeah.
eating and tasting and smelling and, enjoying the sensory delights of the planet.
Yeah. We have to love ourselves. That's the problem. A lot of times we don't
Yeah.
take care of ourselves as,
Yeah.
as human beings. We
Yeah.
consume whatever we see. We're trusting that, but
Yeah.
even though we know it's not good to eat,
Yeah. But you know what else? The truth is that, if I say to you, hey, Alina, whose body is that? You'd probably say, well, that's my body, right? Most people would say that, right?
Right. Right.
So you just told me that you're not the body. If that's your body, then you're not the body, you're the owner. So who are you as owner of the body? Well, actually, you have to say life is the owner of the body. How well do you know yourself as life? Well, not very well, because I'm always looking away from it. I never look into it because I never sit still long enough to bring my focus into the space my body occupies where that energy is.
Mm.
But when you do that, you discover that life is actually the nature of life is empowering unconditional love.
That's right.
And when you feel that, you feel empowered and loved and cared for. And when you feel like that, it's like, oh my God, first of all, it feels so good that you want to be there all the time, right? And then the second thing is, okay, well, it's not about me anymore. I'm taken care of. And if I don't feel taken care of, I know where to go to feel it. And when I feel it, I look around and say, okay, not about me. I'm cared for. Where can I help? What needs to be done? How can I make the biggest splash for good in the time I have? So this completely changes the orientation. If you don't feel cared for, then it's always, what can I do? What can I take? What can I get that'll get me taken care of? And nothing on the outside takes care of you the way life takes care of you on the inside. So you have to get in touch with life and feel that care. And then you have a life that's based on the foundation of love. And guess what? Little kids know that that's the most important thing. All the great masters said that's the most important thing. And if you actually know the difference between living from there and not living from there, you'll say love is the greatest thing too. And you have it in you. We have it all. We all have it in us. Every human being, no matter what their story is and what their trip is and what their history is, every human being is made. Their individual essence is empowering unconditional love. Wow.
That's a big one.
And there's no brain. Oh, by the way, there's no brain fog in unconditional love.
That's right. That's right. I have a group of sisterhood, and we speak about that it's a space where women come together with unconditional love. We don't, no judgment, no prejudice. We just come together in love just to support each other.
Yep.
So, and it makes such a difference. It really does.
And 8 billion people in about 200 nations could do exactly the same thing.
Exactly. If we can all do that, it would be a better place.
And it's about time we started.
Yes. Yes. Because the planet needs us, everything and living and needs us, because we're killing everything in it.
We're destroying it because we're trying to get taken care of from outside when we're already taken care of from the inside.
Right.
And that maybe we could take that care out into the world, to each other and to nature and to the planet.
Yeah, and take care of each other. A lot of people out there need help.
Yeah.
That's why a smile, a hello, or anything, just a greeting somebody on a daily basis, it can make a person's day. It really can make a difference. Just kindness. That's why I tell people, just be kind. Be kind every day.
But we got to do the homework to be able to do it.
Yes. So where do we get all your products? You said you have the omega-3 and 6. You had some other stuff. So
and enzymes, probiotics. You can look me up on Udo's Choice, UDOSchoice.com.
Okay.
And there's descriptions of the products. You get most of them in the natural foods trade. You can buy them on Amazon as well.
Oh, okay, perfect.
And I'm easy to find. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram and I'm on LinkedIn and I have a YouTube channel. UdoErasmus.com is that's my other website where I do that's a work in progress. But I do podcasts quite a few. If you go to Google and do podcast/Udo Erasmus or Udo Erasmus/podcast, you can listen to other podcasts I've done on different topics.
Perfect. So I love it. I'll have to get you back on again because we can keep talking forever. There's so much we could talk about.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the big picture. Let's talk about human nature. There's some cool. Yeah, I'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, there's so much. I just came. I don't know if you've seen the movie Sound of Freedom.
Not yet, because it was sold out. So it's sold out right now. So
I'm happy. I'm happy that it's sold out, that people are going to see. I just saw it last night. It was such amazing. And I actually had the opportunity. I'm trying to get him now, but I interviewed the director of the movie at from another movie. And when I was watching the movie yesterday, I said Alejandro Monteverde, and I told him. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I text him. I have a cell number. I'm waiting to see if he responds to me. I would love to talk to him about the movie, but that was awesome.
Cool.
And that's one
Yeah.
thing about that movie is just like what we're talking about, unconditional love. And
Yeah.
we really need that because there's some ugliness going on out there.
Well, the crazy thing is we have it.
Oh, of course we have it, but
everybody has it, but we're not operating from it because we're not, we're supposed to look into it, and instead we look away from it. And when you look into it, you find it. It's always there. It never leaves you, no matter how you feel. Brain fog or schizophrenia or whatever your problem is, it never leaves you. If you bring your focus in where that energy is, solar energy, we're solar energy gadgets. Life is solar energy, a fraction of solar energy. If you bring your awareness in and bring your focus into it, you know that you are 100% 24/7, 365, lifelong, unconditionally loved. Right? And I say, okay, not about me. And then you live into the world with unconditional love when you feel it. And then you change the way you live into the world and how you act into the world.
Yep.
And that's how you rebuild the world. That's how you fix it. You can't fix it if your state of being doesn't change first.
Exactly.
Because everything we're wrecking comes out of our state of being, because we can't but express it. So anyway, we'll do that on the next one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. And I want to be on that course for the training that you say you can have a training course. I want to do that.
Oh yeah, we're working on it.
Because I would love to do that. I've been trying to see what I'm going to do next, to enhancing my knowledge and everything like that. And I'm going to look into getting your omega-3 and 6 and probiotics, because I know I've tried different types of probiotics, but I know you have to have the right ones. Some of them don't have enough. Some of them are missing things, and it's really hard as a person that, when you read, you have so much propaganda on the internet. And if you Google probiotics, then all day long you're getting probiotics from everybody, and you don't know which one is good.
Yeah. So I'll give you the one I use. It's called Super Bifido Plus. It's made by a company called Flora. And in the evening, I brush my teeth with them, and I sleep with, I swallow them. I don't rinse my mouth, leave them in my mouth, and I wake up with exponentially less severe bad breath in the morning. Because they fight the rot bacteria, because you don't swallow when you sleep, so they just eat and multiply. Well, they fight them, steal their food, and outpopulate them.
Oh, I need to do that, because I wake up sometimes like I'm all like dry mouth. I don't know if I open my mouth.
We call it a doo-doo salesman with a mouthful of samples.
Yeah, not good. I wake up in the morning like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. Or like this, excuse me, honey, I want to talk to you, but I got to brush my teeth first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. I've learned so much from you. I love it. And keep doing what you're doing. And I'll put all your information here on this podcast so everybody can see it. And we'll get in touch again.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you. Great what you're doing. Great what you're doing, because, if it wasn't for you, I'd be talking to myself in the mirror in my bathroom. So the amplifier that you provide to get information out to people is huge important.
Thank you very much. Makes me feel good that I'm doing
something,
doing my purpose in life.
You bet. Beautiful.
Have an awesome day. Have an awesome day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Rebooted the Podcast to learn about each episode's guests and topics. This is your host, Alita Hernandez. See you next Tuesday.